I welcome you all to the ninth week of the series of lectures dealing with the course title History of Arabic Literature. This is the first lecture of the ninth week. In the lectures that will be following, we'll be focusing on different aspects of Indo-Arabic literature and the impact of Arabic language on Indian languages. So this is primarily a subject related to a theme related to uh, Indo-Arabic literature, Indo-Arabic domain. What is Indo-Arabic domain? It is the Arabic domain, localized in the Indian perspective, Indian geographical and historical perspectives. So when the Arabic uh, phenomena are localized geographically and historically to India, for example. So this constitutes the core of Indo-Arabic literature. The Indo-Arabic literature, of course, deals with a significant aspect of Eastern history, Indian history in relation to Islam and Arabic as language, Islam as religion and Arabic as language. We are not concerned about the first aspect, that is Islam as language, as religion. I'm sorry. Rather, we are concerned with the Arabic as a language that impacted, that came into contact, came into interactions on different levels to another part of the same continent, that was the Asian continent, Asia. So this is primarily the point or the major focus area for our deliberations. The religious aspect comes within because in the scenario that unfolded during the successive in the due course of the successive events, successive epochs, political developments, we find that political ideology was it actually is inseparable in many perspectives from the religious perspectives. But this is not the religious history of Islam in relation to India or the Indian subcontinent. Rather, we'll be focusing chiefly on the historical aspects, the philological aspects, the cultural aspects, and of course the literary perspectives. So, historical perspectives along with the cultural and those related to thought, Logat, that is the study of language, etymological aspects, literary perspectives, the poetic scenario, all relating to Arabic, or where the vehicle or the medium of communication, where the mode of communication is Arabic. So in this sequence, things related to Arabic and India, Arabic in relation to India, the Indian subcontinent, are to be dealt with when wherever and when and whosoever would be would be aspiring to deal with this topic in any perspectives. It's a significant domain. It's a huge domain. It's not something like it cannot be just seen as, it cannot be seen as some stray examples of literary concern, literary contributions, insignificant literary contributions. No, because of the geographical expansion of the geographical mass of the Indian subcontinent, representing is as of now, if you just look at the things to the modern geographical political scenario, modern political maps, So it will be some segment. It will be entire Afghanistan, entire Pakistan, of course, entire India, entire Bangladesh, and up to some parts of Burma, Myanmar. So the Indian subcontinent as when the areas which are meant when we use the term Indian subcontinent. So or Shibul Qarat al-Hindi in Arabic. So that region in the relation to Arabic as language, as literature. And of course, they not in the first instance, rather in some in lesser context, ideology and theological identity, the theological legacy, the the culture, etc. So the mass is this geographical mass is huge. It's a big geographical mass, and if we look at it from the context of time, so again, the time span is huge. It's a huge time span. Starting from 711, that is 8th century, starting from 8th century up to the present moment. Rather, it would be exceeding this before that, if we take into account the earliest contact of Arabs and Arabia, an Arabic language, with the Indian subcontinent during the lifetime of Prophet Muhammad himself, as we find in the backdrop of the historical relations between the south of India, South India, the coastline of Kerala, Cochin, etc., and how these areas welcomed the Arab traders, etc. So, and the long historical ties, navigational ties, the trade and ties of trade and commerce, and explorations, of course, that existed between Arabia and India long before the advent of Islam, of course. So, if when seen in this context, really finding that the timeline is again huge. It's a very significant timeline, coupled with a very significant geographical space. In 638, the first naval arrival of Arabia in the coast of India, in Thane, Kerala, Calicut, Malabar. It started from 630. It happened in 638. It was the time of the Caliphate of Omar. That is the second caliph in the chain of the glorious caliphs, or Khulafa Rashidun. In 711, Sindh was invaded by Muhammad ibn al-Qasim al-Thaqafi. He was a general for the Umayyad Empire at the time in 711. And with this, what we find is I start to establish a rule, Arab rule. So the establishment of first Arab rule in 711 in the backdrop of Muhammad al-Qasim Thaqafi's invasion of Sindh, leading to, in the due course of time, in the successive periods, it led to establishment of several states, several phases of governance. Some of them happen to be, some of these governments did constitute sort of empire, like the Mughal Empire. But before that, there were several phases of rule, of Muslim rule. It started by the Ghaznavites in 1997 to 1152 by Mahmud Ghaznavi. The Ghorites, Shahabuddin Ghori, 1090 to 1215. Then the Mamluks, the Mamalik, the slaves, 1206 to 1290, the time of Razia Sultan, etc., and all the things we have in our minds, where the history books have recorded regarding the Mamluks, the slaves. Then the Khiljites, the Khalji kingdom, the Khalji phase, the Tughlaq phase, Khalji phase between 1290 to 1320. Then followed by the Tughlaq dynasty, starting from 1320 to up to 1440. Then the Sayyids, the Sayyid phase, the Sayyid dynasty. So all these are the different dynasties. Sayyid dynasties 1414 to 1451, the Sayyids. Then the Lodhis 1451 to 1566, Sikandar Lodi, etc. Alongside these dynasties were seated in Delhi, as we know. Alongside different other states which were far from Delhi, like the Sharqi kingdom in Jaunpur, 1394 up to 1500. The Khandesh in Burhanpur, 1349 to 1599. The Bahmanis in Carnatic, 1347 to 1526. The Adil Shahi kingdom, the Adil Shahi dynasty in Bijapur, 1489 to 1686. The Qutub Shahi dynasty in Golconda, that is old Hyderabad, you can say, 1512 to 1676. The Nizam Shahi dynasty in Ahmednagar, 1490 to 1594. The Bengal phase, the Sultans of Bengal phase in Lakhnauti and Murshidabad, Lakhnauti and Murshidabad. Lakhnauti, that is identified with Gorbongo or Malda as of now, and Murshidabad, Bengal Sultanate, 599 to 984 Hijri, of course. This can be transferred into seen into as per the Gregorian calendar. So after Bengala, we have the Malwa, state of Malwa, Muslim state of Malwa in Chanderi, 804 to 936 Hijri. The Gujarat state of the Muslim period, Islamic period, 799 to 980. The Mughal Empire, of course, then 1526 to 1875, because of the time frame and the geographical mass it represents. It is the empire. Then again, what we find is related in relation to the Arabic language and literature, development of Arabic language and literature in the subcontinent, in the Indian subcontinent, is the advent of the British British imperialism in India, 1857 to 1947. The Awadh, state of Awadh, 1732 to 1858, because it was independent, quite independent of the Mughals. The Nizam Shahi kingdom, the Nizam kingdom, sorry, it's not Nizam Shahi, rather it is the Nizam kingdom, the Hyderabad state, 1724 to 1948. India after the independence, post-independent India, that is 1947, and the modern times, the contemporary phase. So in this sequence, in such perspectives of time, starting from 711 or before up to the present moment, encompassing phases represented by the state of Hyderabad, the British, the Mughals, the states of Gujarat and Malwa and Bengal, and the Qutub Shahis, Nizam Shahis in Ahmednagar, Qutub Shahis in Golconda, Adil Shahis in Bijapur, Bahmanis in Karnataka, Khandesh in Burhanpur, Sharqis in Jaunpur, Lodhis, Sayyids, Tughlaqs, Khiljis, Mamalik, etc. That is the early phase, which is known as the Sultanate period, Delhi Sultanate period. So this represents very significant contribution in relation to language and literature, in relation to Arabic as mode of expression. This constitutes a very significant aspect, a chapter, a full chapter when it comes to history of Arabic language and literature in any languages of the world. when we talk about the standard history of Arabic language and literature, there are certain aspects that must not be, cannot be ignored, including among them the Indo-Arabic literature stands tall. So, um, with this coverage, with these glimpses of the historical perspectives, historical aspects of Indo-Arabic phenomenon, Indo-Arabic literary phenomenon, Indo-Arabic language and literary phenomenon, we conclude this lecture. Thank you very much.